The Torah in this week's Parsha tells us that an Ammoni and a Moavi are never allowed to join the Jewish people. What was the egregious sin that they did that forever excludes them from joining our holy nation? Says the Torah, it was actually two things. On the one hand, when the Jewish people left Egypt, they refused to come out and give them bread and water. And second of all, they hired Bilam to curse them, hoping to wipe them off the face of the earth. It seems strange that the Torah puts these two reasons together. These reasons seem to be worlds apart. The fact that they wanted to wipe us off the face of the earth, that seems like a reason why we should never let them join our nation. But the other reason, they didn't give us bread and water, perhaps they should have. They should have been more kind. They should have been more sensitive. But is that so bad that now they're forever excluded from being part of the Jewish nation? The Torah is teaching us a very powerful lesson. That when a nation gets up and says, we want to wipe another nation off the face of the earth, or a person gets up and says he wants to commit genocide against a nation, it doesn't come from nowhere. It doesn't start from there. It starts first from just not being sensitive to the pain and the suffering of others. If a person sees someone suffering and he's able to ignore it, that's a very, very bad trait. And that could lead to down an evil path towards destruction. And therefore, the Torah is saying that why did Ammon and Moab want to destroy the Jewish people? Where did that come from? It started just from the lack of sensitivity that they had. There were people who were suffering. There were people who were hungry. There were people who were thirsty. And they were able to ignore the suffering of others. Sometimes we can't help other people, even when they're in need. But it should still bother us. And when we could, we should be able to help them. But to not even be bothered, not even be sensitive to the pain of others, that's something that Ammon and Moab possessed. That's something that for them, it festered and got worse and worse until the hatred was so bad that it wasn't just not providing for them, not helping them when they needed something. It came to the point where they wanted to completely destroy the Jewish people. The Jewish people should never be like that. Obviously, we should never want to kill people or commit genocide. But it goes much farther than that as well. We always have to be so sensitive to this pain and suffering of others. That's what makes us Jewish people. That's what makes us such a special nation. Ammon and Moab didn't have that. They can't be part of us. But we do have that. We have to show that sensitivity and caring for others. And when others are in suffering and pain, if we can help them, then we must do so. Even if we can't help them, we should at least bother us. We should at least worry about them. We should at least try to think about any way that we can help them, or at the very least, we should daven for them so that their suffering ends. That is the hallmark of the Jewish people. We're people who are merciful people. We're people who try to help people. And we're most importantly people who care about other people. Ammon and Moab had no place amongst the Jewish people because they did not possess that. We do have that. As we move along in the month of Elul and head towards Rosh Hashanah, let's use this midah that we have, the fact that we care so much about others and we try to help them as much as we could. Let's use that as our sword when we go to battle on Rosh Hashanah. Let's use that to say to Hashem, please help us. Because we're not only here for ourselves, we're here for all of your children, all people in the world. We care about them, we love them, and we'll try to help them in any way that we could. Have a great Shabbos.